So UFC 307 happened this weekend, and I'm going to matchmake everyone on the card. It's another installment of our matchmaking video. I am exhausted. We're going to get right to this. I want to crank this video, make sure I get it out to you guys today, especially if you've been waiting for this. You know, I love doing this series. And it's the 307 matchmaking. We're going to start with the prelims. Most of the fighters that won in the prelims, and then pretty much everyone on the main card. I'm going to matchmake. Wonder Boy's another guy that, got the special treatment. He's in there because he's Wonder Boy. But let's get right into it with the prelims, starting with Court McGee. Got a submission win. He's 39, going to turn 40 at some point soon, probably. Yeah, just here in the welterweight division, nothing too crazy. Think he should get someone that's kind of got a name. You can really match him up with anyone in welterweight that's like, outside the rankings, like by a significant margin. But I'm going to go with the legend, someone that we all love in the welterweight division, someone who just took a loss and I'd like to see get back in the win column, and it's Leach. It's the Leech, Li Jingliang. I think Li Jingliang, this is a winnable fight for him. I'm kind of trying to set Leech up for a good win, but I think if you do this fight sometime, we just saw Leech fight in August and get knocked out brutally, but if you do this sometime in February, March, I think it's a good amount of time for Leech to have had off. I think Court McGee is ready to kind of turn around rather quickly. The Leech has been off for a long time. I'm sure he wants to get back in that octagon. Nothing too crazy, but August to February is really like 6, close to 7 months here. So I think that's a good way to do it, especially considering they're starting in mid-January. So it'll probably mid-February. They're starting in mid-January. If they do like a mid-February fight night, they put this on the prelim headliner, the main card. It's an average Apex fight, right? This is just what we get. But I people would want to see the Leech. If you do, a prelim of a pay-per-view in February, I think that'd be good. Court McGee, Leech, Jing Liang. I've been spent too much time on this. Let's get to Ryan Spann now. A lot of people at light heavyweight are matched up. A lot of people Ryan Spann has already fought. Now I was thinking maybe you on Kudalaba, but I think Ryan Spann's going to want to turn around pretty quick, man. And I'd like to see him fight Alonzo Menefield. Alonzo Menefield's coming off a loss. He is ranked 15, and I know we don't necessarily want to see Ryan Spann in the rankings or don't know if he entirely deserves it, but there aren't many other matchups that you can make there for Ryan Spann. He's fought a lot of the people around that area. Don't want to give him another layup because he'll just walk through him like he did OSP. I think you give him Alonzo Menefield, it's two really dangerous strikers that we'd be very interested to see in how it works out. Ryan Spann in the 15 spot isn't bad, especially if you have like a ranked or an unranked light heavyweight that you're trying to build up and eventually get into the rankings. Ryan Spann's a guy that you can put them against and have them get a good chance at a win over a name and into the rankings. So I think Ryan Spann versus Alonzo Menefield's a good fight to make. Alonzo Menefield got knocked out pretty brutally in the beginning of August, on August 3rd, I believe it was, on the Sandhagen Umar card. I think if you do this one in January, should be a good amount of time for him to heal up. And Ryan Spann's probably looking to make a quick turnaround. Got in there and out of there pretty quick. January, fight night, main card, Alonzo Menefield, Ryan Spann. It's a pretty good fight. Cesar Almeida, the eye poke queen. Let's match him up with Edmund Shabazian. I think they're going to want to give him someone that tends to like to strike more. They don't really want to give him a grappler. I think Edmund Shabazian's a decent step up in competition where it's like if Cesar Almeida actually beats this guy on the feet without eye poking him and getting DQ'd, might be able to start making a run in this division, especially with at the age he's at. We want to kind of just test him as it is because he's 36. He's not going to be fighting until he's 41, 42. I know he's Brazilian and those guys fight forever, but I don't know if Cesar Almeida's the guy to do that. I think if you give him Edmund Shabazian, it's a good step up in comp. Someone that's probably not going to shoot many takedowns on him. I think it's a good matchup to make. Cesar Almeida, Edmund Shabazian. Let's see how it works out. Again, this is one that I'm looking at January, February. These are the ones that I want to see. I want to see these guys be more active, man. I'm sick of fighters bitching about their pay and fighting once a year when they're on a 12-12. Okay, dude, if you want to get to the 100, 200, 500 grand contracts, fight a bunch in the year. The UFC will need to renew your contract, and if you fight a bunch and you win a bunch, you're going to get a bunch of money. That's why Kevin Holland's going to be one of the most heavily paid guys, because he's always fighting, and he's fought through so many contracts that now he's on a big contract, which I think is a $250,000 to show, $250,000 to win. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's somewhere around that. I want to see these guys turning around quick. You're going to see a lot of people on this card that didn't take a lot of damage. I want them turning around for the beginning of the year. January. Make it happen. Cesar Almeida, Edmund Shabazian is what we just went over. We're skipping Alex Hernandez because I want to save, the three most important for last. Marina Rodriguez, Angela Hill. don't really care about this fight at all. I'm sure they'll make it a fucking Apex main event. I'm sure they will because that's what they do. Or they'll even put it in front of a crowd nowadays because UFC was bought by Disney and they're fucking liberal shills. But yeah, Marina Rodriguez, Angela Hill, make it happen. Two people that are going to stand and strike the whole time. Should be fun for the division. Yeah, January, February. Don't care. I think this is a fight to make. Yasmin Lucindo won against Marina Rodriguez. She's continuing to put wins together. She's 22 and getting older and improving as she's getting older. Let's have her fight Lupi Godinez. I think a lot of the women in the strawweight division are already matched up. I think Yasmin Lucindo does deserve a jump in the rankings after beating Marina Rodriguez, and we will see that, even though I think she might have lost. Lupi Godinez is ranked number 10. Marina Rodriguez is ranked number like 6. And Yasmin Lucindo is ranked like number 13. So I think right in the middle here, the 10 spot, it's a good matchup to make. Lupi coming off a loss to Mackenzie Dern. That was a little questionable. I think she might have won that fight. I actually do think Lupi won that fight. And then Yasmin Lucindo barely beat Marina Rodriguez, kind of. So I think it's a good matchup to make. Moving on, Wonder Boy. Sad to see him get knocked out, man. That sucks. But, he posted on Instagram after he thanks for the love and support and all that stuff. We're actually going to get to him in a second. I forgot I left Anthony Hernandez on the table. Can you tell I'm exhausted? Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres is coming off a loss at UFC 306 against Ignacio Bahamondes. I think these guys are similar in skill. Definitely like to finish fights early. Definitely have big power. I just think this is a really fun matchup to put on a fight night as the main card opener, as the prelim headliner. If it's in front of a crowd, you put it on the prelims, but it's a good one to get the crowd really actively involved in a fight. Alex Hernandez versus Manuel Torres. Make it happen sometime in February, March. I think Hernandez did take some damage in that fight, and Manuel Torres got knocked out brutally by Ignacio Bahamondes, so let's see them turn around then. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. We just did a little montage on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson before I showed you Hernandez, but it's MVP, man. I've been waiting for this fight since MVP signed back in March. Or he signed a little while before, but he ended up fighting Holland back in March. I don't know why this hasn't been made yet. Two of the best karate-style strikers, two of the best strikers in MMA, period, let alone they're in the same division, let alone they have the same kind of karate point-fighting style, but both can knock you out with kicks, and MVP's punch power is good. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's timing is impeccable, and it's always going to be a chance to get a knockout. Wonderboy and MVP needs to happen, and this needs to be on the main card of a pay-per-view. This needs to be on as the co-main event 5 rounds of a fight night. Something along those lines. Now, Wonderboy did get knocked out. He's 41. I'm cool with MVP taking a fight against, Vicente Luque, taking a fight against a Michael Morales. No matter who MVP fights next, win or lose, I want the Wonderboy fight. We need to see this fight before both retire and we don't get it. It's going to be Khabib Tony, but, way dialed back. It's like the Khabib and Tony that your mom tells you they have at home. You know what I mean? Moving on. Joaquin Buckley, big win over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Big call out. Now he's on a big win streak here. Notable names are Nursultan Ruzaboyev, number 14 or 13 ranked Vicente Luque, and now number 6 or 7 ranked Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Get this dude into the top 5. And as he called out Kamaru Usman, let's give him Kamaru Usman. That fixes up the whole division where you can have Shavkat fight for the title against Bilal without holding up the division for a while. And then you can do the 4 the other guys like matched up where you have Leon can fight JDM, or Leon can fight Leon can fight Sean Brady, or Leon can fight Ian Gary. Any mix-up of those 4 guys, Leon, Ian Gary, Sean Brady, Jack Della Maddalena. Want to keep Jack Della Maddalena away from Sean Brady because I don't want to see him get wrestled, and I'm big Jack Della Maddalena fan. But Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman is a fight that we should absolutely make. It's winnable for Usman. It's winnable for Buckley. It's going to draw name value, and it's good name value for the card. And Joaquin Buckley fucking deserves it, man. He really does. He's stepping up, taking big fights, and winning in big ways. He showed in that octagon. You need to reward the fact that he went, all right, I'm down 2-0 to Wonderboy right now. I need to go out there and get a finish. And he didn't cower out like Mario fucking Bautista, the pussy bitch he is, and hold Wonderboy against the cage. He went in for knockouts, and he changed his game plan. He showed really good fight IQ. He blitzed in, moved, and landed a hook instead of shooting a takedown. Like, he did a great job fixing what he needed to fix in the fight to win. He went out there and looked for the finish that he damn needed, and we need to reward that. Give him the Usman matchup. Do it on UFC, the February pay-per-view, UFC 312 on the main card. It's a great fight. Moving on, Kevin Holland Popped a rib. He's going to be out for a little while. I don't know how severe the injury is, but I think he's going to be out until at least like March, April. And that's a long time for Kevin Holland. It's Bryan Battle. I think Bryan Battle will yap in the cage with Kevin Holland. I think Bryan Battle will drum up a lot of attention at a press conference with Kevin Holland. And I think Bryan Battle would make a very competitive fight with Kevin Holland. This is a fun fight that we should absolutely have. And it sells. Like, this is pay-per-view value that you're putting on a card between Bryan Battle and Kevin Holland. Do this on the UFC 313 in March or 314 in March or whenever they have the first pay-per-view in March. Kevin Holland, Bryan Battle open up the main card. That fight bangs. I think Kevin Holland should be fighting at welterweight. He goes up and down between welterweight and middleweight, and I don't like it. I think he should stay at welterweight. I think he's better at welterweight. But yeah, I think it's Bryan Battle, man. Bryan Battle, Kevin Holland, this is a badass matchup, dude. Not to sound like Dana White or pretty much take the bedtime impression that he does. Bedtime MMA fucking kills it. Unreal content. Love that dude. But yeah, I think Kevin Holland versus Bryan Battle is a sick fight to make. Let's do it. Roman Dolidze, big win. Big win over Kevin Holland. Unfair win. Sad win. I picked him, and he won. But he does deserve a jump up the rankings. The guy's putting a streak together now between a couple wins in a row, and they're against ranked competition. They're at different weight classes, and he's doing what the UFC asks. He's trying to get more active. He's actively trying to learn English and yap a little bit more to draw attention. He's figuring it out. Let's give him the Paulo Costa fight. I think it's a winnable fight for Paulo Costa, which I think Paulo Costa desperately needs. But I also think this is something that can help build Roman Dolidze's name. And if Roman Dolidze does come out on top against Paulo Costa, then we have a new name that is kind of circulating around the potential contender category of middleweight. So I think Roman Dolidze, Paulo Costa is the matchup to make. This is a pay-per-view fight. Anything with Paulo Costa is a pay-per-view fight. Or you can do it on the main card of a crowded fight night. Just make sure you have a press conference. Roman Dolidze, Paulo Costa, sometime in February, I think would be great. Even January would be great. December would be great. Dolidze took no damage. So let's do this in December, January, pay-per-view. We're going to move on to Raquel Pennington. We're going to save the others for last. Raquel Pennington, Ketlen Vieira, they fought on the same card. I think it makes sense. They both took an L. Winner can start looking up in those rankings again. A potential, this is like another title eliminator match. Ketlen Vieira, Raquel Pennington, they both lost. Same card, same timeline. Thought Raquel won, but it is what it is. Juliana Pena thought she lost. She needs to defend her title against Kayla Harrison. Is what it is. Pay-per-view feature fight because no one gives a fuck about this fight. Do the feature fight of a pay-per-view. I think it's a good way to sell it. Yeah, Juliana Pena will yap. Kayla Harrison will yap. Kayla will probably destroy her. Is what it is. We're moving on. Aldo we're taking care of after because Aldo, in my opinion, won the fight. We're going to do Mario Bautista right here. Now, I know what you guys are thinking because I was thinking the same thing. Yes, it would be awesome if the UFC put him in the cage with Sergey Pavlovich and Francis Ngannou at the same time, 2-on-1, Sergey and Francis versus Mario Bautista. I think that's the fight to make. But apparently the UFC doesn't want to do that or something like that. I don't know. Think that's the fight to make. Really wish they did, but instead, we're going to do something realistic and not necessarily fuck around the whole time. I would love to see Francis and Sergey both fucking punch him out of the cage. That loser, coward, bitch, crotch-sniffing fucking pussy. But I hope you guys enjoyed the crash out right there. But yeah, I don't think he deserves a ranked opponent. After that performance, we do not reward Mario Bautista with a performance like that. We make him defend his ranking spot against someone kind of dangerous, Vinicius Oliveira. This is a dude that has power. He's very dangerous. He beat Ricky Simon more impressively than Mario Bautista did. I'll say that. I actually don't know how accurate that is. Mario Bautista did kind of beat Ricky Simone's ass, but so did Vinicius Oliveira. And we don't reward cowardice with good matchups, with moving up the rankings. Defend your spot against Vinicius Oliveira, and then you can start trying to build name value again. I was thinking the Song Yadong matchup so Song can lay him out cold in the octagon and land as many follow-up shots as possible before the ref jumps in. Maybe lay him flat to the point where he wants to quit MMA. But He actually doesn't deserve Song Yadong. So fuck Mario Bautista, give him Vinicius Oliveira. I'm done with that rant. Jose Aldo, I don't care that he, on the judges' scorecard, lost the fight. To the MMA community, to me, to everyone that was watching, he won the fight or deserved to win the fight and should not be penalized because Mario Bautista has not a goddamn warrior bone in his body. So we're going Jose Aldo, giving him the legend matchup that he deserves because Dana says the UFC likes to take care of their legends, right? He wouldn't say that just about Stipe Miocic being a layup win for John Jones so he can ride off into the sunset and call him the best heavyweight, best fighter, most dangerous man of all time, so that way Ngannou, his entire legacy outside of the UFC gets diminished, right? Dana wouldn't say that he wants to, take her a legend just because of that and then disrespect Jose Aldo by putting him against back-to-back contenders in Jonathan Martinez and Mario Bautista after already having wins over title challenger Chito Vera, Rob Font, and Pedro Munoz, who was in the rankings at the time. But we're going to give him that legend thing that he wants and deserves. It's Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo, Jose Aldo, sells a pay-per-view. This is a no-brainer, guys. Don't really want the Dominic Cruz matchup. I think Aldo would beat the fuck out of Dominic Cruz. I think he beats Henry Cejudo as well, but this is a very intriguing fight that I think would draw more attention than Dom Cruz versus Jose Aldo. We've wanted to see this fight for a good amount of time now. It's time we make these legendary matchups that we want to see. It's Jose Aldo, it's Henry Cejudo. Do it on the pay-per-view of a card in February. I think it's a great timeline. Actually, Jose Aldo took no damage. Henry Cejudo did... He hasn't fought since he fought Merab Dvalishvili. So, I say make that fight happen. Do it sometime in February. It's a great fight to make. Even January, I'll take it. Khalil Rountree. Dog performance. Like, warrior level performance. Absolute animal. Nothing but respect to Khalil Rountree for going in there and being the only guy to say, fuck it, I am going to stand the whole time with Alex Pereira, except for, like Izzy. And Izzy laid him out flat. But it wasn't going as well for Izzy in that second fight where Khalil Rountree, I mean, dude, he made it competitive with Pereira for a couple rounds. It was competitive. And he went in there and he just took a ton of damage and was like, I'm not going to be afraid of your punches, which everyone's afraid of Pereira's punches. So we reward that by giving him the winner of Carlos Ulberg versus Volkan Ozdemir. Whoever wins is going to be looking up at a title elimination bout. I think Khalil Rountree deserves something along those lines. Carlos Ulberg, Volkan Ozdemir ranked right around Khalil Rountree from like 10 to 6. I think Rountree's going to find his way up the rankings with a couple of people in the light heavyweight division getting losses soon because we have a couple of light heavyweight matchups between Azamat Murzakanov and Nikita Krylov on 309. This on UFC Macau on November 23rd. And I think we reward Khalil Rountree for being an absolute dog. Let's give him the winner of Ulberg versus Ozdemir. I'm cool with the winner of Krylov versus Murzakanov as well. So either one's great, but do want to see him fight more of a striker-type style because it's just going to be more fun. So Khalil versus the winner of these guys. Khalil's going to need some time off. Let's look at March, April for Khalil. And lastly, Alex Pereira. Beast. Best fighter in the UFC right now, maybe Islam Makhachev or Tom Aspinall, but like this dude is active, knocking everybody out, putting on great performances, finally gave us that fight of the year contender that we've been looking for from him, because it's not like his other fights wouldn't be, it's just he knocks them all out in the first round or second round. So Pereira's been an absolute animal. Let's give him the winner of Rakic versus Ankalaev. This is a no-brainer. If Rakic wins, it should be Rakic because he beat Ankalaev. If it's Ankalaev, Ankalaev is the most deserving guy that hasn't gotten the title shot yet in the UFC. Now that Bilal and Merab have had their chance. I think Pereira beats both of them, but I think both of them are intriguing matchups. Rakic, Ankalaev, they're both fighting in October. If it's Ankalaev, he's going to need to take Ramadan off, which is from February 25th to, I believe, March 25th or 26th, something around there. See, guys, I'm cultured. You can do it after that. You can do it in, like, April. I know Pereira usually wants to be a little bit more active than that, but I think he did say he wants to take a little bit of time off, heal his body, which, who knows, for Pereira, that might be as soon as, like, February. But we'll see. The winner of Rakic versus Ankalaev should be the fight for Pereira. And I think, an April time frame is looking pretty good for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. These are the matchmaking selections that I have made. If you don't agree, let me know why. If you do, shoot a like and a comment.